Fast Break.
Wow, wow, wow. Watch out! Oh! And it's showtime. That was absolutely sick. And he pulled that out. Holy mackerel. Oh, man. This makes it look so easy.
Here we go. You can see the intensity on the faces of Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Rose. I'm Matt Weiner. This is the first playoff edition of NBA Fast Break for 2008. Guys, somewhere between 60 and 105 postseason games coming your way the next 2 months. And if they all live up to the Suns and Spurs Game 1, this will be the best playoffs ever.
No question.
Okay. Unbelievable Game 1 in San Antonio. There's Tim Duncan, second only to his teammate Robert Horry in postseason games played. Among active players, Greg Popovich has spent years scheming for that guy. That's Raja Bell. That's a 3, and the Suns are up 10, but it went away.
And that's the Phoenix Suns style we used to. Dribble the ball up the court, take a quick three-point shot. Raja Bell knocks it down.
Tony Parker unimpeded. It's a 4-point game. Parker swinging it to Michael Finley.
Michael Finley, the big three-point shooter guy that the Spurs look for in crunch time to knock down the big-time tray.
And 20 seconds left. There he is again, locked and loaded. 3 of 7 from the great beyond. Spurs tied up at 93, and we're going to overtime number 1. Halfway through it, Suns up 2. Steve Nash. He was spectacular.
You got to roll over the top of that pick. You can't go under picks with Steve Nash guarding Steve Nash. Never works.
And again, the Suns up 5. Again, it disappears. Duncan, 16 of 24. He had 40. The Spurs cut it to 104-101. Ginobili's got it, looking for the open man, who turns out to be Duncan for 3.
Unbelievable. First of all, I totally understand why he would be open, because you never expected him to hit that shot. But number 2, and more importantly, the bottom line is that you look at the Phoenix Suns again, not defensively principled. That's going to get the best. I think it demoralized him.
He was open because that was his first made 3 of the entire season. Shaq there with the putback. Suns tied again at 112. Shaq with 5 fouls. Manu Ginobili goes right at him.
I'm just clueless. I think he might as well put a sign on his back that says, "I'm driving left," because he always does, and there's never anything anybody can do about it.
Nash to Boris Dio had a great look. Couldn't go. Ginobili collected it. You see the angst from the Suns. Nash, fadeaway, drifting 3, ridiculous. It's 115 all.
And if you're the Phoenix Suns, you're thinking, stop layups. We saw this as a recurring theme on this highlight. Layups, layups, layups. The Phoenix Suns, if they can't protect their basket, they will not win the series.
Raja Bell was left one-on-one with Ginobili, who went to his left. Correct.
But all right-hand people get mad at lefties for going left. What about all the players that go right all of the time? Why do you guys get mad at them?
I'm just saying, because they're not as prolific as the guys who go left, which you should be able to appreciate. And if a guy's going to go left that much, my goodness, shut off the left and make him go right. Try something new.
Tim Duncan's 139th playoff game was one to remember.
Amazing, guys. Hit shots after shots. Stevens, another 3 in the corner. A possible third overtime, but Manu just incredible. Keep going to the basket. Know they have foul trouble and just keep attacking them. I didn't know what was going to happen. Honestly, Manu turned the corner and Shaq just totally leaves me and stays with Manu. I've got a wide open shot, lines it up, and I just throw it up there and hope for the best.
That's why they're the champions. They came up with 1, 2, 3, or 4 great shots. We had chances to put it away, didn't do it. But, if we have 6 more games like this, somebody's getting their money's worth.
Duncan, by the way, now has as many made 3-pointers in the postseason as he does championship rings. 4 of each. He goes for 40 and 15, his 4th 40-point postseason game, but it's just the first of those 4 that the Spurs ended up winning. And Jalen, for the Suns, kind of a recurrent theme, blown leads. They had a couple of opportunities at the end of regulation, in the first overtime, even in the second overtime to win this thing. Where did it go wrong?
See, the thing about the San Antonio Spurs, they frustrate you because not only they're skilled and talented, but they play cerebral basketball, and normally they will not beat themselves. And if you're the Phoenix Suns today, you're kicking yourselves for an opportunity you let get away. Up 16 points, you got to find a way to stop uncontested layup. You see Tony Parker driving to the basket uncontested, almost like he's at the Alamo, and it's just him, and he's going out for lunch with Eva. Now you see Manu Ginobili doing the same thing. The Phoenix Suns got to understand, protect the basket in the playoffs. Now, at the end of the game, you're up 3. Steve Nash has the ball. You have to get a good shot in this possession. Former MVP, 2-time MVP. MVP has to get a shot at the rim between him and Murray Stoudemire. They don't get it done. Tie ball game, same thing. Steve Nash has the ball, kicks it back out to Leandro Barbosa. Either he's supposed to make the next pass to Roger Bell or get an on-balance shot. Now the same thing. You got Steve Nash, you got Shaquille O'Neal on the floor, and you go to Boris Diaw in the post. Not necessarily a good decision by the Suns. A lot of missed opportunities through that team, and that's definitely something that they're going to be regretting when they watch film tomorrow.
I think it's relatively simple. You got to do three things. Number one, you got to keep Shaquille O'Neal out of foul trouble. Number two, you got to play defense because you should have defensive principles. And obviously the Phoenix Suns have been devoid of that for quite some time. Nothing different today. And number three, if all of that fails, what you need to do is match the intensity that Manu Ginobili brings coming off the bench. That would mean Leandro Barbosa. He has to be just as prolific offensively as Manu Ginobili is off the bench for the San Antonio Spurs. Coming off the bench for the Phoenix Suns, Barbosa needs to do that. We see the formula that the San Antonio Spurs have executed throughout the years. They play defense, and they've got somebody coming off the bench, and you got the big fundamental. Shaq being out of foul trouble, play solid defense, and get some help off the bench. It's really that simple because that's exactly what San Antonio's doing.
And you get big production from the Stars, which the Spurs did. 90 of their 117 points came from the big three in this game. Game 2 of that series is Tuesday, of course, back in San Antonio. Interesting dichotomy in the Mavericks-Hornets series. You've got Jason Kidd, who's been through so many playoff wars. His 101st playoff game against Chris Paul.
And one of the things that I've been saying all day long prior to the game is that the matchup is Kidd and Paul. Can Kidd somehow neutralize Paul? That would be the Dallas Mavericks' only hope.
And the answer is?
Absolutely not.
There's Dirk Nowitzki, the jumper in the corner. Mavs looking great first half. Seconds remaining here, Jason Kidd to Josh Howard. This was a big bucket, or at least it seemed like it at the time, because it put Dallas up by 12. But then Jalen had a complete 180 in the second half.
That's why they play two halves, Matt, and Chris Paul takes over. Here's a guy that's going to take over with his offense at first. Gets where he wants to get on the floor. You see him with the drive and layup, breaking down the defense, taking Jason Kidd to school again with that and one. Getting the crowd into it, getting his teammates into it. Now you have room to make plays.
15 points in the third quarter for him, 15 of 23 from the field. Meanwhile, the Mavericks couldn't hit anything. Josh Howard virtually disappeared in the second half.
Well, that's not surprising. There's always a bunch of Dallas Mavericks disappearing at key moments. But never Mark Cuban. We always spot him when he's looking so sad. Look at that pass by Chris Paul. Little Isaiah Thomas is what I call him. I'm looking for the highlight. Y'all didn't show the highlight that I was looking for. After one of those layups that he scored, actually one of those pull-up jumpers in the lane, turned around as the Dallas Mavericks were calling a timeout, pounded his chest a couple of times, and said, he can't guard me. He said it 3 times. He was talking about Jason Kidd. Good Lord have mercy, I'm changing my opinion about this series.
Hornets outscored the Mavs by 24 in the second half. They're up 1-0.
We won. That's all I care about right now. I was real nervous coming into the game, but early in the first quarter, my coach just told me to just play and have fun. Well, we were down 12 going into halftime, and we felt like we weren't playing our style of game, so I knew I had to come out, be a little bit more aggressive. Shots started falling, and we started defending.
Hats off to him. He had a great game. He led his team to victory. But if this was single elimination, we would really be disappointed. But we'll go back, watch the video, and we know this is going to be a tough, long, grinded-out series. And fortunately, there's a game 2.
35 points and 10 assists in his playoff debut. So much for the experience factor.
This is non-existent. 35 points, 10 assists, 4 steals. I'll tell you something right now. I'm tired of hearing all of this stuff about the Dallas Mavericks in regards to A.V. Johnson's job security. It's not A.V. Johnson's problem. It's the player's problem. What does he have to go to? He uses Jason Kidd to guard Chris Paul. That didn't work. You saw what Chris Paul did to him. Jason Terry didn't look like he wanted any part of him. Stackhouse wasn't thinking about guarding him. And then A.V. Johnson went to the bench and got Devin George, 30-year-old 3-man, off the bench just because of size to guard Chris Paul. That didn't work either. It seemed like a helpless situation reminiscent of the first round last year against the Golden State Warriors, who bum-rushed and beat down the Dallas Mavericks and sent them home in April. It looks like part 2. That's how it looks to me, Jalen.
I'm very disappointed in Dallas Mavericks. This is why. You got the formula the last game of the season, how to beat this team. Take the ball out of Chris Paul's hand. Extend your defense, 3-quarter court, trap. Get the ball out of this young man's hand. Allow somebody else to get them into their offense. You see early in the game, Jason Kidd operating from the post. double, triple teams, kicks it out to Josh Howard where he has room to operate. You got to continue to do that the entire game. Keeps Chris Paul on the baseline, keeps him out of your paint. Now when you allow Chris Paul to be the aggressor, he gets his teammates involved as he kicks it to David West for the jumper, pick and roll with Tyson Chandler, all the way to the basket for the layup.
Only concern I have about your strategy there, Jalen, is that Chris Paul, that last game of the regular season, wasn't as meaningful, not to mention the fact he sat on the bench for significant minutes, lost a little bit of his rhythm. That changed things up. This is the playoffs. I don't believe that you can take the ball out of a point guard's hands effectively over 48 minutes, especially Chris Paul going against guys who are clearly older and look older than he does.
You can definitely take the ball out of his hand, no question. 2-2-1 full court, 1-3-1 full court. You could definitely take the ball out of anybody.
If it was that simple, they wouldn't have lost.
Also depends on what you're willing to give up by doing that. Just the second player in NBA history to make a playoff debut with 30 points and 10 assists. The other guy is right there, LeBron James. You'll see him coming up as we continue. A lot of talk in that series with the Wizards. The Jazz set off on a journey they hope will get them back to the Western Conference Finals. Game 1 of another repeat matchup that went 7 last spring. Plus, we'll look ahead to tomorrow's Game 1s, including the playoff premieres for both the top seeds.
Man, I'm sitting here trying to figure out when in Jalen Rose's career did I ever see somebody take the ball out of his hands.
I just catch it and shoot it.
Amazing love, how can it be? These are the ultimate songs of faith.
Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that.
These are songs of the ultimate love.
Lord, I lift your name on high.
Time Life presents Open the Eyes of My Heart, today's greatest worship anthems.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord.
You'll hear Michael W. Smith, Mercy Me, Chris Rice, Darlene Check, today's biggest Christian artists.
I'm trading my sorrows, I'm trading my
22 songs of power.
Now is the time to worship.
22 songs of passion.
God of wonders beyond our galaxy.
Call now to get Open the Eyes of My Heart on 2 CDs for just $19.99.
Word of God speak, would you pour down like rain?
But wait, order with your credit card and we'll take $10 off.
Now I know my Redeemer.
That's 2 CDs for just $9.99.
Hallelujah, grace like rain.
Then preview other inspirational albums. Satisfaction guaranteed. So call now and get Open the Eyes of My Heart on 2 CDs for just $9.99.
Call 1-800-503-3124 to order Open the Eyes of My Heart on 2 CDs for $9.99 plus shipping and handling when you use your credit card or order online at timelife.com/opentheeyes.
Pat, how many years have you been coaching now?
33.
No kidding.
All in Tennessee.
Wow.
I guess you could say you started off as a volunteer.
8 national championships. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Well, I've been very lucky.
I mean, you've reached the summit of the coaching profession. Summit.
Yeah, I guess you could say I got this coaching thing down pat.
Sorry.
Well, since the start of the calendar year, the Jazz and the Rockets have been the 2 best teams in the NBA, hooking up for the 2nd straight year in the first round. Chuck Hayes, Tracy McGrady, Rockets down 5. And I didn't even mention that 0-for-6 in the playoff thing for McGrady.
In McGrady's defense, that 0-for-6 record can be deceiving because basketball is the ultimate team game.
I didn't even say that. McGrady in paint goes down. He would stay in. Hits the 3 there. Rockets down 6 at the break. Third quarter, Jazz on a run. Darren Williams to Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver, former Philadelphia 76er, a flat-out marksman.
And they have really taken off since that trade in December.
But at 26-2 when he scores 10 plus points since he's arrived in Utah.
Jazz up 9. Darren Williams pulls up for 3. He had 20 to go with 10 assists. McGrady double teamed. That won't go. He was 7 of 21 from the field. Matt Harpering badgering McGrady.
literally, because he got fouled actually twice on that dribble, but great job and great intensity by Matt Harper.
Big Grady with the pull-up here, scoreless in the fourth quarter, 0 for 3 from the field, and the Jazz win on the road as they did in Game 7 last spring, 93-82.
It's really difficult to even talk about the Rockets. You almost don't care about this series simply because Yao Ming is out. What do you expect from the Rockets? They're lucky if they win a game or two in this series.
Utah shot 52%. They take the 1-0 road lead.
It just took me a while to get warmed up and get going. And as a team, we got some things we wanted. We just missed some shots and, let them get back in the game.
How did you guys regain your composure after they did get back into the game in that third quarter?
Defense. We did it with defense. We got some stops. We were able to build a lead, get out in transition. We can't get out in transition unless we get stops and stop them from scoring. And I think we did a better job of that in the second half. We've won here before, a couple games, and we're just confident coming into these playoffs so we can play with anybody, home or away. And it was a matter of us coming out here and doing it tonight, and I think we did a good job.
What's up with Darren Williams sounding like Michael Jackson? I think it took us a while to get our intensity together, but now that we did it, I think we'll be just fine.
I know, but he had numbers like Ike Turner, numbers 20 and 10. He put it down today.
You know what? You win Game 1 on the road. You take
Great player. One of the top 3-point guards in the game right now.
You can talk however you like as you check out the Western Conference bracket so far.
It's going to take us some time to get it together.
In the Eastern Conference, as they say, familiarity breeds contempt, and there's no shortage of either in the Wizards-Cavaliers series. Two teams meeting for the third straight year in the postseason, and in the run-up, there have been some players running off their mouths. Sean Stevenson suggested LeBron James was overrated, and Gilbert Arenas, speaking up this week, said, I think everybody wants Cleveland in that first round. They've been a 500 team ever since they made that trade. And everybody wants a chance at that matchup. We want Cleveland for our own reasons. We don't think they can beat us in the playoffs. 3 years straight. It's hard to beat a team 3 years straight. We want to try our luck. Cavaliers are 15 and 13. Clarified since the trade. Basically a 500 team. Here we go. There's LeBron. There's Gilbert. Hugs all around. It became pretty clear what the strategy on LeBron James was going to be. Rough him up.
You could tell early in the game LeBron James was a little off balance, didn't have his legs, didn't really figure out how he wanted to attack this defense early.
As Jalen would say, they try to invoke the Michael Jordan rules from the bad boy Pistons days against Michael Jordan. The difference is that LeBron James isn't skinny. He's 240 pounds.
He was 0 for 4 in the first quarter. Gilbert Arenas, deep three. Wizards up by 5. Here we go.
Gets it to LeBron! No way! Hey, you talk about extension? That's extension. There's an earthquake in Cleveland, Ohio.
LeBron said later he told him just throw it in the vicinity of the rim. He did.
That was special. Well, they almost threw something else his way, just with this right here.
Well, that was a good pick by Hayward. I think LeBron overreacted. Yes, Hayward tried to stand over him, and everybody knows NBA players cannot fight.
LeBron said that Hayward stood over him in a, quote, disrespectful manner. Hayward, James, Antoine Jameson all teed up, and then LeBron gets going. Almost knocks Hayward over as they started pushing. Then LeBron.
That's Gilbert Arenas right there.
Gilbert Arenas, layup. He had 24 and 27.
But notice how every basket LeBron James seems to score is him going around or right by Deshaun Stevenson, the man who called him over.
But it's a team game, and Brendan Hayward is checking the guy at the three-point line as the Jordan Field Gospel. He needs to shut off the lane and make LeBron James.
I agree with you, but you're going to open your mouth and call somebody overrated. At least keep your body in front of him. How about that?
You can pay for that. He hit 12 of his final 15 shots. James
I'm just saying.
32 points.
You know?
Now LeBron is just saying, and you know what? He's taking the high road on all this yapping.
You know, my play speak louder than me going out there pushing somebody or talking trash. You know, and I think it did. You know, my play speak for it. Our team's play speak for it. That's what it's about. You know, we're not the type of team that talks, but we're not going to back down either. So our game did the talking tonight, and that's what it should be about.
The Cavaliers have beaten the Wizards 7 straight times now in the postseason, and it was pretty obvious what the strategy was. Get physical with the King. How's that going to affect the rest of the series?
Well, you got to try to knock LeBron James off his stride. If he's not playing in all cylinders, then he knocks everybody else off their game. So that's what the Washington Wizards try to do. You see the hard foul by Block that was not called, and you're going to question LeBron James' heart. Well, LeBron keeps up, and he keeps on competing. But ultimately, the rules in the game have changed. So now if a player like LeBron James continues to be aggressive and continues to be persistent, ultimately he can impose his will on the game like he did today.
I love what LeBron said afterward. Look, I'm built for this. I'm not 6'9" and 260 pounds to take jump shots.
Well, he's absolutely right, and that's why it would be a strategy that I'd consider relatively foolish. But having said all of that, I still think it's something that the Washington Wizards should try to implement to some degree, simply to see if you can get the ball out of his hands and let somebody else beat you. Wally Zerbiak can't hit shots. Zydrunas Ilgauskas played well. But let's see what Ben Wallace, Joe Smith, and those boys have to do. Get the ball out of LeBron James' hands and see if those other guys step up.
But also, if you're the Wizards, you just want to win one game on the road, and they still have that chance in Game 2.
We'll find out on Monday, Game 2 in Cleveland. On the way here, we'll run down tomorrow's Game 1s, including both top seeds' first go-around of this postseason, plus hoop heroes from day one of the playoffs, the players who have already caught our attention. This 2008 playoff run begins.
The Kansas Jayhawks are national champions. Celebrate with Sports Illustrated's exclusive championship package, featuring this must-have official championship DVD. Plus, this special hardcover commemorative book captures the 5-time champions' incredible season and tournament run through SI's famous writing and photography. Go to siorder.com or call now to get both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. 56 issues for only $1.59 an issue. Save 64% off the cover price. Use your credit card and you'll also get this collectible Kansas Jayhawks National Championship basketball. It's designed exclusively for SI in celebration of the nation's #1 team and includes a display stand. Go to siorder.com or call now to get the official championship DVD, the SI commemorative book, and the collectible basketball.
Go online to siorder.com or call 800-351-2300 right now.
Sunday, NASCAR is on ESPN with Sprint Cup on an off weekend. Some of NASCAR's big guns battle the 2.5-mile road course at the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Mexico City. Sunday at 1:30 on ESPN.
Thursday.
Welcome to the war.
All new Lost.
We're all gonna die.
At a new time, 10/9 Central.
Are you ever gonna take us off this island?
And all new Lost returns Thursday at 10/9 Central on ABC.
Now, get big arms, a ripped chest, and cut abs with the Perfect Push-Up. The Perfect Push-Up works with the natural rotation of your arms and shoulders to maximize results and minimize stress on your body. With the Perfect Push-Up, your hands, arms, and shoulders rotate 90 degrees, just like in a punch. All the energy of the push-up is captured and transmitted right where you want it, to the muscles. There's no wasted effort, just muscle-building movement. And as your arms rotate, you feel it work in your biceps, your triceps, your chest and abs, and your shoulders. Invented by a U.S. Navy SEAL and made with steel and a ball-bearing movement, it's the push-up perfected. So here's the deal. The Perfect Push-Up is only 2 payments of $19.95. When you order, you'll receive 2 Perfect Push-Up rotational handles, and you'll also receive the Navy SEAL-inspired Perfect Push-Up workout chart. You'll be ripped in no time. Get big fast. Call right now for the Perfect Push-Up.
Call 1-800-543-0376.
The playoffs continue tomorrow on ABC as Carmelo, AI, and the Nuggets meet Kobe and the top-seeded Lakers. Coverage starts with GMC NBA Countdown at 2:30 Eastern Time. No surprise, the Lakers have ruled out Andrew Bynum's return for at least the first round. Stephen A key for Denver to pull the upset?
Well, first of all, they got to play better defense. They got to play consistent defense and employ the principles that George Hall repeatedly has told me throughout this season. When we're clicking on all cylinders, particularly defensively, we are a very good team and very, very tough to beat. Another thing they need to do is make sure that J.R. Smith gets heavily involved in the offense because he's capable of exploding. And him, along with AI and Carmelo and what they're capable of doing, definitely will help your chances against the Lakers.
There'll be people out there watching the show thinking, the Nuggets have defensive principles?
Occasionally.
They do. Here are your Eastern Conference brackets. Let's talk about the Hawks and Celtics. Atlanta hasn't been to the playoffs since '99. The Celtics haven't been there since '05. What's the key to that match?
Great thing for the Hawks, they actually made the playoffs and they traded for Mike Bibby. Bad thing is they got Boston in the Big Three, a team that's led by its defense first mentality. Kevin Garnett, my defensive player of the year, anchors the defense. This team understands If they take care of their business on the defensive end, their offense will take care of itself. And these guys have been playing consistent. The best defensive team in the game, Atlanta Hawks will find that out tomorrow.
Sixers and Pistons split their season series. Stephen A., as you look ahead to that one, what kind of chance do you give Philly?
None. I think they can pray. I mean, it is the first game. Game 1 is on a Sunday. A lot of churches in the Motor City you can hit. I think you need to go. The game isn't until 6 o'clock. You got plenty of time to go to church, pray a lot that something will happen because they don't have a matchup that works in their favor as far as I'm concerned. None at all.
None at all. All right, there you go.
If they win a game, they'll have a good night.
Well, I got a church for them to go to. They go to St. Cecilia Church. That's where we play our summer league.
Raptors and Magic, Jalen.
The best two players in this series obviously are Dwight Howard, the big man for the Orlando Magic, and Chris Bosh of the Toronto Raptors. But the key player in this series to me is Hedo Turkoglu, a guy that played at an all-star caliber, has made big shots for the Orlando Magic to have a tremendous season.
In this series, I want to make sure on the air I apologize. Mr. Chris Bosh for Toronto was a little sensitive over some things that I said.
You're apologizing to Chris
I'm
Bosh?
apologizing to Chris Bosh. I was only playing, big boy. Right. Don't get so sensitive.
I told you I got you, young boy.
For you. Our Hoop Heroes are next.
New computer started out fast, really fast, but now it's only kind of fast.
Hold on, let me check my email. It's not loading. Let me try this again.
If your PC doesn't run like it's supposed to, if your internet connection is unreliable, even on a so-called fast connection, even if your brand new computer isn't as fast as it ought to be, you might not have any real problem at all. FinallyFast.com free performance test will immediately diagnose any hidden problems and show you how to get more speed on any computer. Plus, FinallyFast.com provides you the software you need to get your computer up to peak performance by getting rid of all the nasty junk files, spyware, adware, and registry errors that make even the best computers freeze and crash. Find out why Ascentive has been featured in Newsweek, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal. You could save hundreds, even thousands of dollars by taking the Finally Fast performance test first.
I'm booted up. What's that URL I should look at? FinallyFast.com. Hey, my computer's fast. Finally. FinallyFast.com.
Stay focused for the next 60 seconds. That's all the time I have to tell you the truth about HD television. The truth your cable company doesn't want you to hear. Cable wants you to believe they're keeping up with HD capacity. They're not. But DirecTV is. Get the best entertainment and the most HD channels with DirecTV. That includes exclusive sports with games and matchups you won't see on cable. So call now for all your favorite sports, movies, and shows. And you always get your local channels. Do you know what else? Packages start at only $29.99 per month, and you can add HD access to any package for an additional $9.99. Compare that to your cable bill. There are no startup costs, no equipment to buy, and professional installation is free. Call now. You also get a free HD receiver or DirecTV DVR upgrade from America's #1 HD provider. Time's up. Make the call.
Millions of Americans have made Hydroxycut the #1 selling weight loss supplement.
I'm Brandy, mother of 2, and I lost 21 pounds fast with Hydroxycut.
Subjects using the patented primary ingredients in Hydroxycut lost an average of up to 4.5 times the weight than with diet and exercise alone. I strongly recommend it, both as a new doctor and someone who used it with fantastic results.
I'm Catherine from Texas, and I lost 41 pounds with Hydroxycut. It really works fast.
Get Hydroxycut at supercenters and stores everywhere.
After a grueling regular season, Kobe Bryant and the Lakers emerged as favorites to reach the finals with a top spot in the West. Their first test is Allen Iverson and the explosive Nuggets. Coverage of Game 1 begins tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern on ABC.
Sunday Night Baseball, Mets-Phillies, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
All right, let's get to our Hoop Heroes. I've got Andre Kirilenko because you expect to get 20 out of Darren Williams. You expect to get 20 out of Carlos Boozer. You don't necessarily expect to get 21 out of AK-47. If he plays the way he did tonight, they're awfully tough.
Oh, you're just picking him because he's a foreign player and you're a bit partial to that stuff. I'm going
not
with Chris
foreign.
Paul. 35 points, 10 assists, 4 steals. Completely dominated Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks in the second half. He's the best point guard in the game. Well, despite my MVP vote going to Kobe Bryant, he's almost made me regret it after today's performance.
Well, we're not going to talk too much about Tim Duncan because his numbers speak for themselves. 40 points, 15 rebounds. Outplayed Shaquille O'Neal and Amari Stoudemire in a tremendous game today against the Phoenix Suns.
For the record, I was going to take Duncan until Jalen.
Yeah, well, you should have taken it.
And I'm an American citizen.
Karolinko.
The big fundamental.
You got to dig a little deeper. Anybody can find Duncan in the box score, as I did.
He does have a very nice marriage, though. I'll throw that out there.
He's got that going for him as well.
Got that going for him.
He marries pretty well, huh? Yeah. Make sure you're watching the games tomorrow. Big time.
And on that note, for Jalen and Stephen A., I'm Matt. Thanks for being there, everyone. Many more nights of this to come this playoff season. See you.
Baseball Tonight is presented by Chase.
We're out of the box on Baseball Tonight. Scott Reese, Chris Singleton, Eduardo Perez, and Andrew Jones yet to hit a home run in Dodger blue. He has finally gotten off the schneid.
Well, he's a lot taller in that at-bat right there. That's what he has to do. Stay up, get on top of those high heaters.
Maybe he got some words of wisdom from his former skipper.
Or the former batting coach, Terry Pendleton.
For him, the friendly confines at Turner Field. You betcha. Frank Thomas, nothing friendly about his situation. Benched and not happy about it.
Well, very upset, and we'll see how this plays out over the next few days. They say that after the game he didn't stick around to shake hands with his teammates. I have a hard time believing that. We'll have to verify that by tomorrow.
Yanks and Orioles, Kyle Farnsworth, we can verify.